This is my first event at Women as Mentors, and it is fantastic. That last the activity was just amazing. It's just so great to see all the mentees and to meet all the facilitators and the mentors. I think it's Krista says that yes, the first black female police officer in Winnipeg. And what my position right now is I'm a patrol sergeant with the Winnipeg Police Service. I'm the accreditation manager, and I supervise our audit unit. And accreditation, just a little trivia here, some information for this, of course, Winnipeg citizens. Winnipeg Police Service is one of the largest accredited agencies in Canada. And what that means is that we comply with international police standards for best police practice. There's approximately 464 standards that we comply with. And my position and what my responsibility is, I ensure that the police service complies with those standards so we remain an accredited agency. So really what I do, I kind of police the police. I'm going to go back in time here. So rewind my journey to where I am today. I was born in Jamaica, and at the age of 7 years old, my family immigrated to Canada. And it was quite interesting because in Jamaica as a child, I think I remember when I was about 3 or 4 years old, I would see Caucasian people on donkeys riding through our villages, right? And so, and as a child, being just surrounded with people that look like me, it was quite interesting. So when we moved to Canada when I was 7 years old, it was just very different. And I saw Caucasian people driving vehicles. And with my 7-year-old mind, I was very perplexed by this, but I quickly got over that. And moving to Canada, I guess the challenges started at that time. Because, of course, I was put back. I don't know if the school system still does this or educational system, but I was supposed to be in grade 2, but they put me back to grade 1. So the challenges started there. And I remember kids asking me, "Where are you from?" And I'd say, I'm going to try to do this because I've completely lost my Jamaican accent. But I would reply to them, I'd respond, "I'm from Jamaica, man." And they would, "Jamaica? Aren't you from Africa?" "I'm from Jamaica, man. I don't know where Africa is." I didn't even know that black people existed in Africa. So, and of course, you know, as a child, I got teased in that, and so maybe that I developed a complex, I don't know. But I attended the public school for the first year, and then my mother put my siblings and myself in a private Christian school. We weren't rich. My mother is a hard worker. She worked very hard, and our church sponsored us to get this education, and I'm very fortunate and thankful for that. As I grew, as a teenager, I thought that, you know, I was interested in policing, and I was telling the individuals at my table that it's a little bit embarrassing, but a little bit also funny, because my mentor when I was growing up was Charlie's Angels. Yes, I know. Farrah Fawcett, love the character. Because at the time in the 70s, of course, the role models that I saw on TV, Good Times, you guys remember Good Times? Dynamite. Yes, a black family from the ghetto. You know, so that was, you know, kind of the role model that we see on TV. So it's interesting because Charlie's Angels, for me, it was the females. There were female police officers, female detectives. So the 3 females crossed the color line, ethnicity line, and economics. It didn't matter. I focused on these females, these wonderful 3 females who were police officers, and I thought it was just so cool. And I thought to myself, I would love to do that one day. So as I grew, my mother always wanted to be a nurse. And so she was a nurse's age, a nurse's assistant, and she wanted one of her daughters, because I've got 4 sisters. She wanted one of her daughters to become a nurse. So I thought in grade 10, okay, Mom, you really want me to do this? If you want to live vicariously through me, sure. So I'll try this. So I enrolled in an after-school program that Red River was offering for individuals to become nurse's assistant. And I did. I did my 145 hours of the practicum, and I did not like it, so I never became a nurse. But I always had that childhood dream in me that I'd love to be a police officer. So in 1987, I realized that they did not have a single black police officer in Winnipeg, and I thought, that's a challenge for me. I'm going to rewind back to 1986. So as I said, as a teenager, I tried different things. I said the nurse's aide. I also did fast food. I love food, but not fast food. I tried that, and it wasn't for me. Got involved in different things. Hence, I have a 25-year-old son. So we talk about challenges. Well, that was one of them. So when I became a police officer in 1988, the first black police officer, I was a single mother at the time. So that definitely was a challenge. And what helped me become the police officer, as I said, I became a mother at the age of 18. I had my son 3 months before I turned 19. And I thought at the time, I do not want this. I saw it as an obstacle or a challenge. This is not going to keep me from doing what I want to do. I have a child, and I know that there are many women that have found themselves in the situation that I did, young teen, young mother, what do I do? Well, living in this beautiful country of ours, there are opportunities, doesn't matter what your background. So I took advantage of the opportunities that were offered to me. So I enrolled in the Single Parent Job Access Program, and I got a job with the province of Manitoba. And of course, my mother instilled in me that education, education, education. It was like stereo all the time, coming from all areas. And so at that time, I applied while I was working with the government, I applied for the University of Manitoba because I wanted to become, I thought, a police officer is good, but a probation officer because it's education. Because as a police officer, do you really need university? My mom was saying you should go to university, so I applied at the University of Manitoba, but I also applied for the police service. I thought, I secretly, I didn't tell a lot of people because, of course, the couple of people I did tell said, well, you're pretty small. You're pretty tiny. And at the time, they had just gotten rid of the height and weight requirement because I would have just made it for the weight requirement. And so I didn't tell a lot of people. So I applied for university, so it appeased my mom, and I applied for the police service, and I got accepted both university and the police service within the same week. So I thought to myself, here I am, I'm 20 years old. I had a big decision to make. Do I become a police officer or do I go to university? And at that time, I thought, well, police officer is what I've always wanted to do. And if I go to university, I have a child to raise, I'm a single mother, I'm going to be a poor student for 5 years. And so I decided to become a police officer, take the job as a police officer, and it was the best decision that I've ever made. The police service, our police service, I'm going to have to say kudos to the police service. We've got so many wonderful officers that do such an excellent job in protecting the citizens of the city. Thank you. Thank you. So as I went forward, I did face challenges. I was surprised. I faced challenges from within my community. When I say my community, I say within the Black community. As an individual, mentees, when you go you have a goal in mind and you'll speak it out, you'll tell people about your goals, and once you've accomplished that, you definitely will have your supporters and there will be adversaries. And it's unfortunate, but that's the case. And I did have supporters, and I surrounded myself with good counsel and good people who just helped me to accomplish my goals. But when I became a police officer, I had self-imposed stress. I put stress upon myself. I took it upon myself because I believed that I was responsible for all the Black females, not only females, because at the time when I was hired, we only had 45 police women on the police service, and now we have approximately 250 or something. So that's what's happened in the last 24 years. So I felt a responsibility for all the Black females that were hired. So I put that stress, was self-imposed. I felt if I didn't make it, so this was a challenge for me, it was a personal challenge. If I didn't do well, if I didn't make it through the academy, and it was stressful being a single mother going through the police academy. I believe that if I failed, then all the other females, not only Black females, but females that came after me would be painted with the same brush. Well, you know what? We gave them a chance, didn't make it, So I felt responsible. So I put that pressure on myself. And also, as I went throughout my career, I wanted to get promoted and become a sergeant. And I felt that, well, if I am the first black female, I have to. I have to do this. And I felt the responsibility for other females that would follow. So I did that, and eventually I was promoted, but self-imposed pressure sometimes is not good. So as I said, there were unpleasant people who were who thought that I couldn't make it, especially being small, being female. But I worked hard, persevered, and for sure, here I am today. I had one officer say to me once, he says, why do you think you're here? And I said, well, because I went through all the exam, the physical, I passed the physical, got through the interviews, and obviously sold myself, and they thought that I was qualified. And the officer said, no, look. That was it was about 2 years on the job, and of course I have to admit, I went to the bathroom, I started crying, because it was, oh my goodness, am I going to make it 3 years into my career? I had serious thoughts of quitting because of the pressure, not only being female, but I call it a double whammy, I was double something, black and female. And I thought, I just want to quit because it's too hard. But of course, surround yourself with people that are pushing you forward, people that will support you. And you know what? I had good people around me, and I kept on. And that same officer said to me, you know what, Monica? I didn't think you'd make it, but here you are, and you've done an excellent job. So I'm very, very happy for that. Most of my career, I spent a lot of time patrolling in the front line, of course, very visible. And I've always wanted to help people, so I really took joy in being the frontline officer. And again, in 2008, I know that it says 2009, but that was my error when the bio was 2008. I was promoted to patrol sergeant. Persistence and tenacity and determination. I've coined it PTD. Write that down. PTD is the key. And it rhymes. I was quite impressed with that. PTD. On my 4th attempt, and if you've had any police officers in your family, you've spoken to anyone that has gone through the promotion process for the police service, it is stressful and quite challenging. 4 times I tried. The 4th attempt, I thought, you know what? I've done my best. And I'm happy with the effort that I've put forward. And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But I've had a good career, and I'll continue doing my job to my best ability. And at the 4th attempt, I succeeded. And at my first posting as a patrol sergeant, I supervised 27 frontline officers, and with our central reporting unit. And in 2009, I successfully competed for my current position as the accreditation manager and the audit supervisor, and I was successful. I just want to say to young ladies, don't let anyone cause you to believe that you can't. The only person that can impose the internal limits on you is yourself. Sources outside of your personal being can pose challenges and even put up roadblocks, but no one can make you believe that you can't. Believing that you can't is a personal choice, and believing that you can also is a personal choice. Two are right. If you believe that you can and you can't, you're right. You can. And I was chuckling to myself. I'm like, yes, you can. I thought, okay, I'm going to get a little political here on the southern side. Yes, you can. Remember that what we coined in the U.S. presidency election? Yes, you can. Just one moment, please. Little pause here. What is my definition of success? Success is when I personally can look at myself, I can look in a mirror, and I truly believe that I have done my best. It's always doing your best. Strive for that. My best in accomplishing the goals that I've set out for myself. And that belief has to be coupled with a belief of a sense of peace and contentment. So knowing that I've done my best, knowing that you've done your best, and having peace and contentment with that, that is my definition of success. I want to leave you with a quote from Calvin Coolidge. He was the 30th, I don't know, I'm using US quotes, but 30th President of the United States. Nothing in this world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than unsuccessful people with talent. Genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Education will not. The world is full of educated derelicts. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent. The slogan, "Press on," has solved and always will solve problems of the human race. Press on, my sisters, press on to accomplish whatever you can, because you can do whatever you set your mind to. Thank you.